Hey guys, welcome back to AF Farms for another tutorial tip and trick video. So today what we're going to be talking about is field expansion. So basically what field expansion is, why you would want to use it, and of course how to execute it. So basically when we're talking about making money in game, basically you've got fields that you can purchase. All right, so we're on Het Ballon. I can never say that correctly, but the French map in the base game. We own field 38, which encompasses the farmhouse and this little plot of land here. And this land stretches from this little roadway, or gravel road, to field 39. And then next to that, we've got field 42, 41, and 40. So they're all separate fields. So traditionally in game, the only way to make money from crops is to plant in the field, go through the liming, the fertilizing, the weeding, the fieldstone, if you've got those elements turned on, all right, to improve your yield. And there's also rolling and mulching and a few other things. But a little known trick that not a lot of people do or are aware of is that you can join fields together and basically introduced plowed ground states to where there aren't any before. So effectively what we can do, for example, is we can take field 40 and field 41 and join them together by eliminating this dirt road. Okay, so why would you want to do that? Well, basically what you're going to do is you're going to increase your farmable land for what you own. So this section of grass here that we're looking at doesn't grow a crop. Okay, the crop grows in field 40 and the crop grows in field 41. So we can increase our farmable area quite dramatically by joining these two fields together, field 38 and 41 together. If you wanted to, you could join 39 and 42, or you could join all these fields together to create one big field and therefore increase your crop yield. Okay, now why would you want to do that? Like I already mentioned, more farmable area equals more crop yield, which equals more crop to sell, or more crop for your productions, so you can produce more output. Okay, why you wouldn't want to do this is basically if you really like the design of the base layout maps. Okay, because what it does is it does alter the aesthetic of the map quite a bit. So if you like the nice neat laid out fields that we've got here, then perhaps joining them isn't something you would consider or like. So if you are going to give this a go, turn off autosave, join the fields like I'm about to demonstrate how to do, and see if you like the look and feel. Otherwise, you can restore the field states. You just have to paint the ground texture to remove the, let's call it the plowed state of the field. Okay, so I'll demonstrate how to do that as well. So with all that said, let's get into some practical applications. So basically what you need to do is you need to buy the plots of land first and foremost. So let's go ahead and buy field 20, field 19, and just for the hell of it, let's buy 17 and 15. Okay, so now we own all the land, so therefore we can plow. So basically once you own the land, you can build on it, you can do what you like, okay? But you've got to own it to be able to alter it. And then once it's altered, it'll stay that way until it's changed back, if at all. All right, let's get into our base game option. So we've got the, let's get into, let's see if we can detach this. You need to unfold the tool. So we've got the AgroMaz POV 5XL. So this is a base game plow, okay? And we've got a Fendt. Can't remember exactly what this model is, but it's one of the base, the 1050. So I think this is a medium tractor. Okay, so what you'll notice is if we come over to the field here, so I'm just going to overlap so I can illustrate a point here. If we hire a worker, what will happen is we will get a plowed state. So actually I'm going to turn this worker off. So you can see this section of field here has been plowed, all right, because you can tell by the change in color. However, the plow is interacting with the grass margin, but it's not creating a field. Okay. Now the way we change that is we go L1. We've got allow create fields or limit to fields. So what limit to fields is basically what I just demonstrated. However, if we go allow create fields, and what I'm going to do here is just lower this plow and drive it on down, you can see we are putting a plowed state in where there was no field before. Okay. And if we go over to the PDA, we can have a look, and you see we've got a little purple plowed state indication in the UI. So if we scroll over a little bit further, yeah, because it's been plowed for the first time, that's where we get the plowed state. Okay, so this is base game equipment, pretty straightforward. Now, you can get a larger plow. So I think the biggest base game plow is the Land PW112, 75,000. So it'll do 6 meters in width, but you need a 360 horsepower tractor for that. Another option that I've got installed is the Lizard Subsoiler 9 meter. And there are a bunch of cultivators that have the Field Creator mod, and that's identified in the shop by the little note there that says, so the biggest one that I've got is the Compactomat 1750 Max. So this will do 15.7 meters in a single pass. But a cultivator traditionally won't create a plowed state. You have to use a plow, but mods allow you to do that. So that's this one here. So you can see it's got a pretty big working width. So base game or mods, it's up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plow this out, and then we'll come back in. So I'm going to switch to the Lizard 9 meter just for sake of time, and then we'll come back in and we'll have a look at the end product. So see you in a few minutes. Alright, here we are with the Lizard 9 meter subsoiler. So this is a mod which is allowing us to do the plowed state, which we talked about. Now, one thing you've got to consider is when you get to the ends of the rows here, how you want to finish off the edge of the field. So what I'm going to do there is just, now this one has the benefit of being able to go forward and backwards. So what I'm doing here is I'll just gently line up the edge of the field. Now, it may not look perfect, so you just got to play around with how it looks. What we're going to do is we're going to whip back up the other way. And I'm ploughing into the adjacent crop here, but normally I wouldn't do this. It's just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so you can see we're getting a nice plowed state there. Happy days. And look, if we measured this, it is probably about 9 meters in width by however long that field is. So whatever your square meterage is, I mean, you can't quite, someone smarter than me would probably be able to work it out. But basically I just go by the method of, we've now got more field than we had before. So you can see the difference right there, right? Now if you wanted to fix this edge up, so say if you had OCD, everyone's a little bit OCD I guess, but if that is going to drive you mad, right, then what you would do is potentially come through with the landscaping tool and fix up that edge, or you could just extend this field out a little bit going this way. But this is what I mean, these sort of things are going to happen. So these little blemishes, they're not quite square, they are fixable. However, it's just whether you're happy with having a little bit of a, I don't want to say messy, but not clean and straight fields. Okay, but that's basically what we're looking for. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now we are going to restore it back to what it was before. Okay, so say you've tried this, you've accidentally saved the game, you hate it, you don't like the look of it. This is why obviously you should turn off autosave before you try this, because you can just reboot your game, pretend nothing ever happened, and your fields will be the same. But I really like doing this because I like to have big fields. Obviously you can have less crop varieties growing at any one time, but my play style is I tend to grow one batch of crop over and over again, and then I'll rotate the crops around as I acquire more land. So that's just my personal preference. Okay, so let's go into here. Let's find the grass state. So what you've got to realize here too is this tool is quite expensive. Now, what should happen here is these fields should basically be at 90 degrees to each other. So what I mean here is if we line up our GPS coordinates down the bottom, so we're at 89.9 there, so I've got to get this bang on 90. Easier said than done sometimes. There we go, so that's bang on 90, right? So basically if I hold that at 90 degrees, go nice and slowly down to the bottom of the field. Go across. And then back up this way. So you just got to make sure you don't move your camera. Now we are reducing the fields. So you see there I've gone a little bit too far. So let's just go again. Just so it's nice and straight. Hopefully this will work out for me. So the key thing here is just take your time. We're getting a beautiful straight line. Okay, so now we've restored the nice crisp straight edge. However, we've got this kind of odd looking golf fairway looking thing. So what we want to do there is we want to come into plants. Excuse me. And now we want to put some meadow grass in. Okay, so you can see there basically we've got, so I've messed up there a little bit. What I should have done is got my GPS back to 90 degrees. So what I'm going to try and do here is do it in one pass if possible. So I'll whack a bit down the middle. So you can see we've basically got the same grass texture as what we've got on the verges, let's call it. And basically what you do is you just line up your GPS 90 degrees, go parallel, both sides, job done, and then you can put the dirt texture in through the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video there quickly, and then we're going to come back in once I've fixed this up, and let's see if you can't tell the difference between, say, this section here or this section here with what we end up. So hang around, I'll be a few minutes and we'll have a look at the results. So see you in a few minutes. Alright, so here we are. I've just restored these two fields back to their former state. Alright, so we're just going to have a quick look at the area. So this is basically the intersection of where we had just joined these fields before to now what we've got instead. So you can basically see, if you didn't know that this wasn't original, it'd be very, very difficult to spot. Okay, the only thing is we're missing a little bit of grass texture sort of in this area because we don't have that in the tools for the landscaping tool. However, if we just jump into the build mode, so you can kind of see, if we just do it, it's not quite the same, but it's pretty close. Okay, so this is how you can restore the path that was here, but just keep in mind that it is not going to be 100% exact. So you can see we've got little tufts of grass coming out of the top there, whereas on this texture here we don't quite have the same level of finesse with the in-game grass. So if I just change the shape of it, so the in-game grass basically looks like that. So you can see it's more of the verges rather than that sort of stuff. Okay, but I'm just sort of nitpicking there, but I know that some people watching this would probably like to try this, but they'd be afraid of ruining their overall map aesthetic. Okay, so that's basically the principle. So we've covered, you know, why you would join it, how you would join it, how to repair it if you don't like it. Obviously, the best strategy here is to turn off autosave, reboot your game if you don't like it. However, I'd really recommend you to try it. The only thing you've really got to watch out for is if some of these fields join together, it can cause issues for workers. But basically, the extra money that you make from having these fields joined, and even in areas like, say, you know, we could widen this field, for example. Like, we could get the plow in here, cut these trees down, go very close to the road, up on this hill. We could go a little bit higher as well. It just depends on what you want to do. This little green area we could extend out into, same as over here. Obviously we have less room to turn around for our equipment, but it's all about maximizing your farmable area, okay, so you can make more money. All right, let's leave it there. So that's basically it. That's how to extend and plow fields, and then also how to return those fields back to somewhat of an original state if you so choose. So hope you liked the video, guys. Leave a comment below if you've got any questions. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.